Good afternoon, students. Welcome you all to watch second video part 2, class 12 home science subject. This video is the continuation of chapter 6, food adulteration. Previous video I have discussed what is food adulteration, meaning of adulterants, types of food adulteration, that is intentional adulteration, incidental adulteration, and metallic adulteration with example. So today I am going to teach in this video rest other two topic, that is when is food considered adulterated, and another is causes of food adulteration or reasons for food adulteration. So let's start with when is food considered adulterated. What are the conditions of adulterated food? Or you can say when we can call a or considered a food is adulterated. So let's start. Food is declared adulterated if the food contains inferior or cheaper substances. That means inferior means low in quality. So in case any food it contains any kind of low quality substances or cheap substances. For example, in case superior quality or good quality sugar, where you can see that sugar, good quality sugar, can be adulterated by adding low quality same product, that is sugar, where impurities like dust, chalk powder can be present. And cheap substances, if the food contains cheap substances, like we can take one example in milk. Sometimes seller, what they do, they add mashed potatoes, cornstarch, rice powder. So these are the substances compared to the milk is low in cost. To just to thicken the milk, or just to make the milk thick, they add mashed potato, corn flour or rice flour or refined flour to make the milk thick. So this kind of product will be called as adulterated. So first point is what? The if the food contains inferior or cheaper substances, that food will be considered as adulterated. Next, any valuable or necessary constituent has been wholly or in part abstracted. That means any vital element means removal of any important vital elements or nutrients from the food product, from the original food product. Wholly means completely, entirely, or in part. In part means in some amount, not completely, not entirely, in some part. Abstracted means removed. So this point says that any important element or nutrients from the food, if it removes from the original product completely or in some amount, that means that product or that food substance becomes adulterated. For that, we can take one example, that is removal of fat from milk. Okay. Next point, the food contains, if the food contains poisonous, harmful substances. Okay, if the food contains any kind of poisonous and harmful substances, for example, mercury in fish, toxic color in food, or presence of chemical. So mercury, that we know that it is a heavy toxic metal which is to be present in the effluent of chemical factory. So in fish, mercury can be present, and which is very harmful toxic metal, which can affect our central nervous system. Then toxic color in food to make food attractive. Sometimes seller they use colors, different colors, so that colors can be toxic and it can be poisonous for our health. Then presence of chemicals. Sometimes some this one producer, what they do for faster growth of the fruits and vegetable, for the faster ripening, they inject chemical. So in case any kind of food that contains poisonous and harmful substances like chemicals, metals, heavy toxic metals, toxic colors, that means that food will be considered as adulterated food. Next, the food, if the food contains any non-permitted colors, preservatives, or permitted preservatives in excess of the prescribed limit. If the food contains any non-permitted colors, okay, so there are many colors, toxic colors or non-permitted colors are there. If that colors are used in food product, that food product will be considered as adulterated. Then some preservatives, okay, which are toxic for health. So we know preservatives used for what purpose? To preserve the food, to keep the food safe for longer period. Okay, then permitted preservatives in excess of the prescribed limit. Certain preservatives are permitted, but in case these permitted preservatives used in excess amount, okay, the amount of preservative supposed to use, but if the seller manufacturer use in excess amount, that time also that product, that food product will be considered as adulterated. Okay, so food contains any non-permitted colors, preservatives or permitted preservatives in excess amount, okay, excess of the prescribed limit, that means that food product considered as adulterated. Next, the food obtained from a diseased animal. If the food obtained from a diseased animal, as we know that different types of animal based food product we consume, that like meat, fish, then egg, okay, so in case this kind of food product, animal based food product, if obtained from a animal which is suffering from disease like swine flu, bird flu, lumpy skin, that means that animal based food product or food is adulterated. Next, if the quality is below prescribed standard. If the food quality is below prescribed standard, okay, so what is this point? So let's food quality is the quality characteristics of the food that is acceptable to consumer and safe for their health. In case the food quality is not safe for the consumer's health, if it is harmful for the human health, that means the quality is low or the quality is below standard. So there is certain criteria or standards for the food, okay, for the good quality food, okay, so, means certain rules, regulation, guidelines are there, okay. So in case manufacturers or sellers are not following certain principles, guidelines, rules while processing of the product, okay, while selling, while marketing, distributing, that means the quality of the product will be below standard or substandard, which will be harmful for the health, okay. So next is if the food had been prepared, packed or kept under unsanitary conditions. So where the if the seller or the traders, okay, where they prepare the food, if the area, the area, the place where they prepare, if it is not clean, not hygienic, okay, and where they pack the food, if the packaging material is is not safe for the health, okay, and kept under unsanitary condition, the storage area where they keep the food, if it is not healthy, that means that food will be considered as adulterated. Then next is if the damage or inferiority has been concealed. Sometimes what happen, the seller, what they do, sometimes they hide the damage of the product, they conceal the damage of the product or inferiority of the product. By how they do this thing, they dip in the chemical water, or sometimes they apply color, okay, artificial color on the food product, so that they can hide the damage or inferiority of the product. Okay, so in case we get this kind of product, that kind of product also will be called as adulterated. Next is if it is an imitation of some other food substance, okay, if it is the imitation of other product, that means misbranding, that means that product also will be considered adulterated. And false labels, as we know, labels means what? Labels means where all the informations are present regarding the product, manufacturing date, expiry date, manufacturer address, name of the manufacturer, okay, ingredient used, okay, what are the ingredient, then nutritive value of the product, okay, everything information is to be given in the label. In case the label is not proper, if there is any kind of misleading label, okay, that means that product is considered as adulterated. If the food is contaminated with pathogens, okay, pathogens, so we know that is virus, fungus, bacteria. So if it is contaminated with pathogen, in any case, sometimes that street food, okay, seller, they sell it in openly without covering, so flies sit on that, dust set on that, so that kind of food product will be contaminated with the pathogens, or sometimes due to the faulty practices, okay, due to the wrong practices by the farmer, okay, sometimes they grow their their vegetables, fruits, vegetable crops, okay, in certain area, that means sewage area, or sometimes for irrigation purpose, to give the water in the field for the crop, okay, for the growth of the crop. Sometimes they use the contaminated water, so that time also the food can be contaminated, or fruits, vegetable can be contaminated with the pathogens, okay. Then decomposed food, that is the rotten food. In case the food is rotten, or the good quality food is kept with along with the decomposed or rotten food, that means that food also will be considered as adulterated. Then next, if the food quality is below the prescribed standard. Next, causes of food adulteration: to get more profit, to earn more profit in short time, short duration, manufacturer, they go for food adulteration, okay, to earn maximum profit. That is one and only motive of the trader, to earn profit in short time. Then they earn profit by increasing weight of the product, by increasing weight of the product, volume of the product, by adding certain unwanted substances, lower quality product, okay. Then lack of awareness, sometimes we consumer are not aware about the laws, about the food laws, food acts, okay, about the consumer, we are not aware about what are the consumer protections, okay. So that case also food adulteration take place, okay. Rising population, increase of population in India, also one of the reason of food adulteration. The more number of population, more demand of food, okay. So to increase the food production, to meet the demand of the consumer, to meet the demand of the population, sometimes adulteration take place, okay. So it is practiced as a part of business strategy, okay. Then lack of proper knowledge, okay. Being a consumer or the farmer, if they don't have proper knowledge, what will be the consequences in case we consume the adulterated food, what are the health harmful things can happen in our body. Okay, and the farmer also are not equipped with proper knowledge, okay, proper education, that in case they use the pesticide, any kind of chemical in the field, then what will be the harmful effect on the human health. That kind of knowledge will be knowledge is lacking in consumer as well as in the farmer. Okay, next is illiteracy also one of the reason of food adulteration. There are many people or consumer who don't know how to read and write. They are not educated, so this also illiteracy also can lead to adulteration. Sometimes these people, they cannot read properly the label, okay, the expiry dates, manufacturing dates. Okay, so in that case also they can be easily cheated by the seller. Okay, then when supply is less than the demand, then shortage of authentic or genuine ingredients at affordable prices. Say for, we can take one example, that is saffron. It is very costly product, so sometimes it is due to the high price, shortage is there, and sometimes the seller, what they do, they mix with the maize fiber and they sell it in the market. So that is also one of the reason of shortage of authentic ingredient and affordable prices, also one of the reason of food adulteration. Then increase competition in the market among the seller. Okay, ignorance and indifference of the consumer. That means we consumers, sometimes we ignore the situation. If we know that adulteration is going on in the market, or we get the adulterated food product from the seller, we don't take any action, we don't take any initiative, we don't raise our voice, we ignore the situation. Okay, we don't pay any interest to raise our voice. We are not concerned about this particular problem, that adulteration problem. Okay, next is lack of government initiative. That is also one of the reason. That means from the government side also strict initiatives are not taken. Lacking of food laws acts are still there. Then no proper supervision by the food inspector time to time. Okay, very frequently they don't visit market. Okay, they don't inspect, okay, what's going on in the market. So due to the lack of government initiative also leads to the what, food adulteration. So today this much. Thank you.